Sunshine Law. Roll call?
Mayor Jim Petty,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Yeah, I was gonna say the phone.
Dash,
Here.
Doty,
Here.
Galloway,
I am here.
Heist,
Present.
Hesse,
Here.
Keener,
Here.
Timbers. Right,
Here.
Okay, number 4 on our agenda is the mayor's presentations.
Okay. Alrighty. So. We never worried about that. Okay, so I have what's called a first wall, and it's, if you want to look to your left, that's the first wall. And tonight I have a presentation of a woman who I'm sure everybody knows her name. Her name is Fanny D. Rittenberg. She was actually the first councilwoman in Egg Harbor City. Unfortunately, she has no living relatives. So I asked someone who knew her and worked with her on city council to come and say a few words about her. So Ed, did you want to come up? And she was also the principal of the school, and Ed will say a few words about that.
Mayor, thank you very much. If you're around long enough, you serve with a lot of different people. And I've had the privilege of serving with Fanny Rittenberg the first year I got into council. And Ms. Rittenberg was a person that you didn't call her by her first name, you only called her Ms. Rittenberg. You didn't dare to refer to her as Fanny. But she was a type of individual that once you got to know her, you got to understand her a little bit better. I went to Catholic school, so I didn't have her as a teacher. There are some kids who, or people here, some people here who probably did. My wife told me that the boys got along better with her than the girls did. And if you were in her class, if you were a boy, and Gary, you can help me out, you had to wear a tie. I was told.
Yeah, Mr. Rittenberg definitely liked boys better than girls. I know that when I went to the principal's office, basically, I got out unscathed.
But to tell you a little bit, a couple things about Ms. Rittenberg. First of all, she was a graduate of Syracuse University. She had a bachelor's and a master's. She had completed, she told me one time when we were at lunch that she had completed enough academic studies, of which the mayor has done, to get her doctorate. But she said, what did she need a doctorate here in Egg Harbor? So, she also told me that she has a nephew. He's since passed. And we were talking at lunch one day, and he was born in Woodbine, grew up in the South Jersey area, who was the Chief Justice of the Alaskan Supreme Court for 4 terms, 4 separate terms. So she came from a family that had set a lot of firsts in a lot of different areas. If you look at Ms. Rittenberg, she was the first city council member. She was the first woman to run for mayor in Egg Harbor City. Yeah, who did win, but she was. She was the first woman principal in the school system here in Egg Harbor. And she was the type of individual that helped a lot of people. I remember that your uncle had a shoe store on Philadelphia Avenue. And if she had a child or a kid in school who needed shoes or sneakers or something, she'd send him up to your Uncle Jimmy's store and she would pay for them. She didn't make a big deal out of it, but a lot of kids got a lot of benefits and things like that from Ms. Rittenberg. The one thing I will say is that back when I first got involved, being a city council wasn't like it is today. Politics was 1 day a year, and it lasted about 2 hours for reorganization. After that, it didn't matter what party you were, whether you were Democrat or Republican. It was strictly what was better for Egg Harbor City. And nobody was more so than Ms. Rittenberg. Ms. Rittenberg didn't care about what party you were for. She supported the ideas more so than what the policy was. And that was, by and large, that was the majority of council. I don't think it was like it is today. But Ms. Rittenberg was a really nice individual. I got to serve with her for 9 years. I learned a lot from her. She if I did something that she didn't think was right, she would take me aside and she would tell me that, You don't do this the next time. This isn't the way council people act at public forum. But anyway, I think she would really be honored for what you're doing for her. I know that she loved Acorn dearly. And that she gave it everything she could, and she was a really, really nice person.
So Marie Johns was going to be here this evening because Marie was in obviously in school in Egg Harbor City, and Miss Rittenberg was the principal. So Marie, funny story. She had a note sent home to give to her parents from Mrs. Rittenberg, and she never gave it to her parents. So her kids, she tells the story to her kids, and they think that's the funniest thing in the world, that her mom was so bad. So I just want to read it real quick. It's very short. This is from Mrs. Rittenberg to Marie Johns's parents. I'm very sorry to inform you that your daughter Marie has not been behaving herself in school. For some time, she has been acting up in Mr. Hunt's class. I spoke to her about it and hoped that she would soon settle down. The teacher, however, told me that she has not improved. The things she says to him are anything but grown up, and certainly not in keeping with her home training. Today, she refused to obey Mr. Frisbee. I don't know any of these people. Gary, do you know any? You're not that old.
No.
Who was substituting for Mrs. Stewart. Before Marie gets into any serious trouble with her silliness, I thought it best to inform you about her actions. I know I should have gotten in touch with you sooner, but I thankfully and truthfully thought her common sense would return and her foolish behavior would end. Perhaps you will be able to help Marie. So I thought that was cute. Her kids got a kick out of it. Marie certainly got a kick out of it. So that's Mrs. Rittenberg. And I know we have okay, baby's back. Okay, good. So every year I have a house lighting contest through the Mayor's Wellness Campaign. And every year I get 2 new judges who have never done it before. So we have a difference of, opinion. Some people like one thing, some people like another. And I never disclose who the judges are. So this year we have 4 winners, and I'll start with the honorable mention, and that would be Mr. and Mrs. Torres on Boston Avenue. If you want to come on up, get your. Okay, so the pictures are up there. It's for you. Congratulations. Thank you so much for participating. All right. All right. 3rd place, we have Jeff and Martha. And Martha, sorry. I want to always say Martha. My son says it's Martha, Mom. Come on up here that we have the 3rd place. You're a frequent flyer. You hear a lot, so that just tells your house is beautiful. And we do appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Living up your house.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, 2nd place. And Martha is on Boston Avenue also, because we're gonna hear a lot of Boston Avenue stuff. Gary and Gina Hess, better known as Butterbean and Cupcake. This is the future house decorating. Gary. All righty, thanks, guys. And drum roll, please. We have Michael and Nancy Kinsley, and they are on Raymond Avenue. Michael was also a frequent flyer here. Michael loves decorating. I mean, and they just have, I think, Nancy put a post on Facebook. She said she likes to decorate because it brings back all her fun childhood memories when she was young. It's kind of like a tradition, right?
Yep. Yep.
And you're just like
I just.
an overachiever. All right, and that's all I have.
Number 5 on our agenda is, I'd like to call up Karen Adams for the Egg Harbor City Economic Development Corporation Awards.
Half my team, if they wanna come up. A lot of you know me, from the MPP. I'm also the secretary for the economic development. Chief Awen and Keith is the vice president. Unfortunately, our president, Chris Costa, could not be here. He's stuck in North Carolina. We do all the events on Philadelphia Avenue with exception to the Halloween parade and the Easter. They're the two things we don't do, but everybody knows the big winter event. One of the things we did in the past couple of years is we pulled the performances out of the Christmas parade so that the Christmas parade won't stop the movement anymore. And we took them performers and we asked them to come to the Winter Bazaar to perform because the town loves it, the kids love it, right? So this year we had a silent judge, is that what you're calling? What do you call them when you just?
Anonymous.
Anonymous, there we go. Had an anonymous judge pick their favorite performer, and it is the 4-H twirlers.
Right.
Here we go. The 4-H clubs come to the Christmas parade every year. The girls are great. The twirlers, the batoners, the cloggers, we love them all. I know, you have a big group with you. I hope they all appreciate it.
And we have, our next meeting is Monday, so I said, I think we may be getting something.
Awesome.
Just represent this on
Good.
Monday.
Well, tell them they did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I'd like to add about 4-H and our events is that we at the EDC feel that they are very mutually beneficial. You know, it's like you have events where we draw people in and they can go down to the 4-H and vice versa. So, you know, it's a great collaboration that we have, even though we don't really work together, but it's a symbiotic relationship and I think it benefits both of us.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Round it off for the or for the Christmas parade. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of how many years it's been now. Where's Joe? Do you remember what it was last year? We said 25 was last year.
I don't know the exact,
Do you remember? Because you were emceeing this.
just for the last 3.
Yeah.
So
The
maybe,
Christmas parade's going a long time.
maybe 20.
Yeah.
Brian Beals is,
I was asked to take over the parade when Brenda got tired. It's one of the hardest events we run. And I can't do anything by myself, so I enlisted my whole team, which is the only reason it works. Because there's so many of us working behind the scenes. As everyone knows, not that we try and keep up with Hamilton, but I was told that Hamilton offers trophies for best floats. So this year we got trophies for best floats. We do have a runner-up. The runner-up was Veterans Roofing with their big Santa sleigh. That was awesome. I don't know if he made it or not tonight. But I will get a hold of him. And then our winner is 401 West with their gingerbread house.
Congratulations. And you're still representing.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think gentlemen back to the right. As well. Yep, give them a picture with them.
I would love to snuggle in here. Thank you again for all your hard work. It wasn't very, very heavy.
Karen, I think next year you need a golf cart one. Just saying.
A golf cart float? Ah, I wonder.
A golf cart award.
You know, with golf.
While the EDC is still here, I just wanted to reach out, and I did talk to Chris at the parade that day. And talked about the Egg Harbor City Council Redevelopment Committee and your committee to get together sometime in the near future and try to collaborate our efforts to try to bring new businesses into town and come up with different ideas that might work and things that we might not have thought of that you would know and vice versa. And so look forward to it. We'll try to set up a meeting as soon as we can. We haven't had our first formal meeting yet, but it's coming up Monday. So we'll try to come up with a date and see if that works for you. Good. All right, number 6 on the agenda is approved the minutes for November 25th special council meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Also approve the minutes for December 19th council meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 7 is public comments for anything that's on the agenda. We'll have public comments at the end of the meeting also, but if you have anything about an agenda item, which we don't have a whole lot of them, you can speak now. Okay, seeing none, we'll go to the mayor's report.
Okay, I just like to say, anyone who was here for an award and you don't want to stay, please don't feel guilty leaving. It's a cold night. I'm sure you want to go home, but you're certainly welcome to stay. Okay, so I did not get a chance to mention this at the last meeting, but we did get what's called a brownfield development area grant designation, brownfield designation grant. So that opens us up to some money that we can use to fix our contaminated land. So we have a few sites that we really want to close, like the old landfill at the industrial park, and also the Gateway West. There's some contamination over there. Brian knows much more about that than I do. I can barely even say the name, but R&V did apply for that grant, and we had a lot of support from the Department of Environmental Protection, and we're just so blessed to get it for 2 designations, not just 1. Do you want to say anything now, Ryan?
Yeah, so the brownfields designation opens up a higher cap. You're limited for how much funding you can get per year for some of the investigative work. So it raises the cap up to $5 million a year for the investigative side. And then it also provides funding opportunities for when you partner with a redeveloper, they can get reimbursed for up to 75% of the cost for remediation. Typically, there's not a lot of remediation funds available. So that's a big boost to a redevelopment project. So you can start to dig into an area, get a better handle on what the contamination is, what the extent is, what the cost is going to be to clean it up. Find a development partner for the direction that you want to go in for that property. And then they can get some funds to help advance the cleanup and move forward with their project. So it's a big boost, especially if you get 2 sites at once. It's surprising, frankly, and it should be a big lift for both sites. So.
And those limits be for each site,
Yeah, so
so like 10 million and.
I believe it's per site and not per, yes. So.
So thank you, Ryan, for preparing that. I know it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot quickly because it was.
Yeah, real
We
fast.
kind of met and then it was like, oh, it's due, but yeah, we were able to get it together and obviously they were good enough to be deemed
Yep.
acceptable to DP, so.
Yep,
So
so,
glad we could get there.
so we've been blessed to get a lot of grants in Egg Harbor City. If you don't know, I'm not gonna go through them all, but we have a lot of very substantial grants. So one of them, which has been going on now for probably 8-9 years, is the bike path. Many of you might know about it. Some of you have forgotten about it. Maybe you never heard of it. So the bike path from Dieterwig to the lake okay, has been on the drawing board for at least 8 years that I know of, and, it's still trying to get through Pinelands and all that jazz, so we did get some, I guess, good results. There was only 2 endangered species, the yellow fringed orchid and the crested fringed orchid. So I don't know how they handle that, but there's another few things that they have to address. Our engineer on that project is CME because the R&B could not do it.
Yeah, they were the design assistants, probably got design assistants funding from
Yeah.
that too.
So it's cost us nothing to pursue the bike path. So hopefully we'll get the letter that Pinelands is gonna sign off on it. We had a lot of drainage, they don't, with this filtration.
Stormwater management issues, but
Stormwater management, they had to develop a special type of drainage for how many inches of asphalt, right?
well, it's, pervious paving, but with the Pinelands new nitrogen treatment rules, you have to filter your water through essentially 2 separate, what are called PMTs, or best management practices. So, with limited separation from groundwater, it was a challenge to try to route the water through 2 separate facilities. That's what city's been trying to come up with a configuration that the commission would accept. So it sounds like they're close, but there's still at least one more round of resubmission to the commission.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess we're working on another, hopefully to grasp some other grants for streets. The school is doing a travel plan. And Ryan and I will be there at 9 a.m. tomorrow to walk it and see if we are still walking. I don't think we are. We're not
Mostly
walking.
inside.
We're option 2, right? Okay, so we'll be doing that tomorrow and we'll get, once that gets finished, then, we can hopefully get some more streets done in Egg Harbor City. And then the final thing I have is the 2024 lake report. I won't go through the whole thing, but we did pretty good with the budget. We were a little bit over, but we handled in salaries again. And we did $222,287 in operating income. And with the appropriations of $115,000 and the revenue, the 222,000, we basically had a surplus of 107,000 change. So we did very well. The Parks and Playgrounds meeting, or we're gonna meet next week?
Monday, first Monday of February.
We're gonna meet the first Monday of February and we'll be discussing all that at that point in time, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Question.
Yes. Does that include the campground?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we'll go into council committee reports. I'll start with Mason. Have anything?
Yeah, Dave reached out to me from the campground, speaking about the campground. Next week, he wants to know if we can do a Zoom meeting with him for our annual report for this upcoming season. He's looking to do either Monday or Wednesday. So everybody that's on committee, if we could let me know by tonight, maybe Meg can set up a Zoom meeting for next week, whatever times are free for you guys.
Mason, I can't do Zoom from my house.
Okay.
I just.
They're down in Florida. They can't get up. That's why I know we have to do Zoom.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Can you call in? Because there's a number.
I can try that, yeah. If it's a local number, if it's within the Egg Harbor Hamilton area, because I don't have long distance on my home phone. And I don't have enough cell reception or Wi-Fi.
Because he's down in Florida, so he can't.
Right.
Yeah, that's why he wants to
I'm
do a
letting you know
Zoom.
that I may not be able to get on Zoom.
Well,
Okay.
one option, you could come here and Zoom.
People could meet here.
Zoom.
You can meet here and Zoom through that way, I guess.
If everybody wants to do that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not-
Don't matter to me. I just need to know a good time. I mean, I
I
can't do anything until after 5, so I mean, it's up to you guys, whatever time is better for you guys. It's completely up to you guys. But he was asking for either Monday or Wednesday.
Okay,
And that's pretty much it.
good. Thank
You'll
you.
let us know what you decide.
Yeah, hopefully it'll let me know by the night, so, because he wants to know by the night, so.
Is that the lake committee or the parks?
Parks and Playgrounds. The lake committee's part of it is Parks and Playgrounds. It's all good.
Okay, next we'll call on Councilwoman Galloway.
Oh, I have several things. I learned that the EPU has updated their rules regarding solar installations, and they now allow remote net metering. Did you pass this to Ryan? I don't know if you've seen that.
and
Others allowed it.
which would make the Gordon Way parking lot an option for installation of solar that could be used here at Culver City Hall. And then the BPU is going to announce soon another round of grant funding for the Community Energy Plan Implementation Grant that program that we went through. And some of the things that we could apply for are EVs for the police department. We still want them. Yeah, why not? Direct install here at City Hall or any other municipal building. The solar installation and converting our streetlights to LEDs. So we have to decide what we want to apply for next. And I think we may have to close out the EV charging station grant before we apply. Well, it hasn't been announced yet, but I got the secret back gate entrance to the news.
return your calls.
You're gonna stack and rack 'em.
Right, right. We're gonna be ready as soon as it's available. Davy Resource Group started their tree inventory, will start on Monday. And should take about 3 weeks to complete. And we posted a news release on the Facebook page. And is it on the website, Jody?
Yes.
Okay, and on the website, and you can read all about the process. And that we should be getting a software program installed soon, so any requests for tree maintenance or anything like that would go directly into the software. Sustainable Egg Harbor City will be meeting next week to talk about the tree replacement ordinance that we're working on. I'll send you a copy and you can look it over. It's pretty much complete. We have to do some formatting on it. And we'll have an ordinance committee meeting on January 20th. And hopefully we could introduce it on the 23rd at our next meeting. And between the introduction and the adoption, the Green Team will have their meeting. So we wanted to talk about the ordinance at our Green Team meeting. So any member of the public who wants to learn about it could come to the Green Team meeting on Tuesday, January 28th. We meet here at City Hall at 6 o'clock.
Do you have a sample ordinance that you could?
Well, it was a sample ordinance, but it's been reworked for Egg Harbor City. So it's still got to be formatted and stuff. I'll send it to you on it.
Well, only because we send out the agenda with
Yeah. I'll
we'll
get it
have,
to you.
because your meeting's the 20th, what day is that?
Well,
Tuesday?
if we're going to introduce it on the 23rd, so you would need it by the 21st, right?
Whatever that Tuesday, by
Yeah,
Monday.
Tuesday, yeah. So we'll get it to you.
And what the attorney needs to review. So.
Yeah. And then I checked on the residential home improvement tax abatement program, and we are at the limit of 25,000. The law says it's 25,000. We talked about it in a meeting and thought we would ask to increase that to either 50 or 75,000. Because you can't get much done with $25,000. I mean, if you put siding and windows and a new roof, it's going to cost you at least 50 to 75,000. So I sent an email to Andrea Katz, our assemblywoman, to see if she would forward legislation to increase that. It hasn't been increased since 1992. So hopefully we'll hear back from her. But I was wondering if City Council would do a resolution requesting the state to look at this program and increase it.
Do you want to offer that as a motion?
Yeah, please. I'll make that motion then.
Motion to support raising the tax abatement for home improvement to what amount?
70. I say
75.
75.
75,000. Anybody second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Questions?
Now, are we voting on just to have it to go to a legislator, correct?
Just to support
Request
the
for them to
legislation.
support it? Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
And I just learned tonight that, well, I knew it was coming up, the 250th anniversary of the United States of America in 2026, 4th of July. So towns are getting ready to work their fireworks. So I would recommend that we
see if we can get a 2-year contract with our fireworks.
We do it every year. Actually, we have it scheduled for the 19th, right, Jody? So, I mean, we could,
It's
he might not.
the 19th, what, this year?
July, yeah.
So, but what about the following
Oh,
year?
oh, you're
Because
talking
they're going to
next
be
year.
very busy and it's good to get a
yeah.
2-year contract with them if you can.
I mean, we've
been Yeah.
using them for so long, if we had a certain date we wanted
If
Plus,
we
we don't
did it
vote
in
on
the-
4th of July, so it's the week after, so
Yeah,
usually.
it's the week after.
So, and I was also going to suggest that we might form an ad hoc committee.
Wednesday.
to
I was thinking of that
start
as you were talking,
planning something
right.
for
We'll
some-
discuss
maybe
the plan ahead of time,
EDC and the
because if you don't get
MVP,
booked up.
if they're still around, would help.
I think so.
Okay, we'll discuss that.
That's good.
Can I
That's all
just
I
ask you a question? Did you say you wanted to do it on the 4th of July?
No, I don't care, but if we
Because
establish a
that's, I
committee,
don't think that that's gonna be able to happen at the lake.
No, I think she just wants to plan ahead.
plan ahead.
That way he doesn't get booked and then we don't have nobody to do our fireworks because it's a big celebration.
Yeah, because the towns all over are going to be having celebrations and.
Yeah.
But the good thing, we do it the
to
week
do
after,
that
so I
at
think
the
we-
week on the 4th of July.
No,
that'll- That'll be craziness.
My history is correct.
Saturday.
It wasn't signed, the declaration wasn't signed until like the 8th or something. like that.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
we will do it.
Good thinking.
I think that's it. Oh, and one other thing, I prepared a flyer for the contractors regarding the plastic dust that gathers. I'm going to ask Ingrid if she would translate it to Spanish. And then I'll have a 2-sided form that we can give out at the building department when a contractor
Nice.
files for a building permit
Right.
and they're using that stuff. So
Then if you can email that to me, I'll translate it.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have Councilwoman Hesse.
We had a meeting, for the code meeting on,
Councilwoman Hesse and Council President, while you're doing it, can you announce what committee you're
Yeah.
reporting for, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
This is the code committee. And we had a code committee meeting on January 7th, this past Tuesday. And just a quick recap from it. The committee discussed the roles and salaries of the officials in the code department, proposed solutions for ensuring annual inspections of rentals. And we considered the renewal of a program for code enforcement. The committee also explored strategies for improving trash and code enforcement in the city. Potential grants and funding opportunities for recycling incentives, and the distribution of trash cans and the need for dumpsters and rental properties. Our next meeting will be January 22nd with the code department. This time the code department will be there. Last time they were not. Our plan is to go over what the committee has discussed and to listen to what the department has to say. One item the committee would like brought up is the code software system called MC System Solutions. It's up for renewal. We have been presented with the decision of staying with them for a year for $1,600 and taking the chance it may go up. Second decision we have is signing with them for 3 years, which will keep us at the same price for 3 years, or going with another company. Egg Harbor City's code department has been with MCSS for at least 3 years, and in the last 3 years, it's only gone up $100 each year. The price is very good. However, we may not be getting everything we need for our department to work as efficiently as it should. Because of this, the committee's decision to go with a 1 year and take the time from now until October to investigate other systems. The payment, it's due by February 5th. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask now. Because I would like to, Council President.
What's the recommendation of the committee?
The recommendation is to, I would make a motion to vote for a 1-year contract. The committee makes a recommendation to vote for a 1-year contract with MC Solutions. So
Is there a second?
that's my
I'll
motion.
second that.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. 1-year contract.
And then investigate other companies.
Yes.
That provide
Yes,
municipal software.
that's what we decided to do. And I have one last thing. There was a robocall, seemed to concerning snow removal. It was intended to be informational, not cause panic. Moving forward, we will work on protocol and delivery. There were no tickets given out. Our code enforcement officer walked the 100 to 200 blocks of Philadelphia Avenue and either spoke with the owners of businesses that were open or called the ones closed or vacant. So I know there's been a lot of talk going on out there. So to dispel any rumors, that is what happened. Like I said, moving forward, the robocall will be a lot more gentle. So, thank you.
That robocall I got a
Wasn't
transcript.
me.
I didn't get one.
Because I did listen to
Did
it
you get
live,
it?
Wasn't me.
but it sounded like it was AI
It was
generated.
computer generated, yes.
Yeah,
And it just read the ordinance.
Right.
that's all it did, but it was
Yeah.
just so harsh.
But then there was other things,
Yeah.
then there were other things out online that showed the fines if you got caught or got cited. And again, as Kim
They might have my old house phone.
expressed, there was never any threat intended and nobody was cited. And
They wanted to share the ordinance just so people would know it was not meant to be punitive. I didn't even I just shared the code and I didn't feel like recording a message, so I let it. The speech, I was very.
Jody wasn't
I'm
gonna
like,
say all that.
About this out, it really wasn't that bad, the robo voice.
No, it wasn't.
So,
Not really. the last one.
Actually, the robo voice on that is pretty good. So, I try to make it simple, like, here's the ordinance, like, that's what people need to know, what the ordinance is, what are their requirements, so. Whatever, next time I'll be more gentle.
I ran outside and shoveled my sidewalk around.
That does bring up a good point, and we talked about it with our attorney earlier, that maybe our codes need to be reviewed. And updated, and there is a company out there that he recommended that we could look at to maybe do that. And from my understanding, those codes should be reviewed every so often anyway. It's been as long as I can remember that hasn't been reviewed.
And if there's a way, if you're going to do it by RoboCop, push 1 for English. Push 1 for English, push 2 for Spanish, because our Spanish speaking people have no idea what was even said. So if you can, there may be some kind of.
I'll have to look on the site, I'm not sure about the option, that's a good idea.
We always get English.
I'm
If
not
I
gonna
could
do
just
it
interject
anymore.
as well,
Calls.
if you have a neighbor that's elderly or handicapped or maybe just works. If you can lend a hand and do their walkway for them, that's how we do it in our neighborhood. I would encourage anyone to be as helpful as possible in their neighborhood.
That's a good suggestion.
I'm elderly.
Handicap.
You need help, right? Okay, next, Kim, Donna, you have any,
I don't have a committee.
Steve, you have anything? you want to
I have no committee.
Okay. Rick?
Public Works. So everybody is aware that, our former, Public Works Director, Supervisor, Superintendent, sorry, left city employment after many years, working for the city. Keith Adams is here tonight. First, I want to thank him. There really was not an opportunity. His last day was last Friday. And, I wanted to, offer a resolution of thanks and, appreciation, for Keith for his service to Egg Harbor City over the last few years. Somebody like
I'll
to-
make that motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so turning that page, last Friday, Keith's last day, there was a meeting here with some of the former Public Works Committee members, Donna Ice, myself, the mayor, and Joe Keener. And we met with Ray Menchis. I know you say Mayhaus. And basically introduced everybody to Jerry Barbera, who was hired the night before as our temporary part-time interim public works superintendent, manager, supervisor, whatever the term is. And Jerry's here tonight, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to discuss his report just over the last week. But that was to introduce everybody to everybody. Jerry got oriented where things were, where he could hang his hat and put down his laptop and so forth. And that was helpful. And of course, right away, we're having a snowstorm. And so Jerry and the team went to work, and I'll let him report on that. In the meantime, just previous to the new year, the city clerk's office sent out a job advertisement for a full-time public works director, superintendent, whatever the title is. And we evidently have had many responses, which is very, very good to hear. And due dates for those are that Friday, January 24th. So I proposed and talked to the members of the Public Works Committee. We'll meet the Monday after that weekend. They'll have an opportunity to get all the resumes and applications, review them over the weekend. And then Monday on the 27th at 6 o'clock, we'll have a meeting here at the Public Works Committee to review the applications and the steps moving forward. I would suggest that we include Jerry in that process because he's pretty knowledgeable about public works management and probably many of the people that may have applied. So knows their background. So that's Public Works Committee has been up to. I'm going to let Jerry give a review of his work in the last. Yeah.
Would you come up, Jerry? Before you get into the report, can you just introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure, thanks. And thank Councilman Dovey, which is a new title for him. I used to call him Rick because he worked down the street. So my name is Jerry Barberio. I live in Hamilton. I've been a resident of Hamilton for the last 25 years that I've been in South Jersey. I moved up to New York for a brief period of time for 5 years for a job. I'm the former Assistant Director of Public Works in Atlantic County. I am the former Public Works Manager and Business Administrator in Hamilton, former City Manager up in New York and Westchester County. I'm currently a Borough Administrator. So I was happy to get the call from the mayor and offer my assistance, albeit part-time, but as Councilman Dovey said, we met on Friday very briefly. And then Saturday, I was there for a few hours. And then after that, it was all about preparing for the snow that we were going to get. So we dealt with the snow, we dealt with all the issues that come with snowstorms and come with snow plows and snow equipment and all of that stuff. But I did take one thing away, that the institutional knowledge that Ray has, plus the hardworking younger staff, is really the right mix for this community. They're always willing to help. They were out there in the freezing cold. They knew the streets. They knew which streets they had to do, which we don't necessarily go by zones, but they knew which streets they had to do. And so the communication was good as well. So that was encouraging. That was very encouraging. As with all snowstorms, there's some issues and problems, and you'll get through those over time. But really, I've only been in the city for, although I was the arborist for all of last year, I've only been in this position for about 13 hours, not 13 days, 13 hours. So you'll learn more. I'll learn more as we go along. But it was very encouraging to meet the staff and to see how hardworking and dedicated and how caring they are for the people of the community. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Anything else? Anything else? Okay. I have the redevelopment finance committee report, but before I do that, I just want to say that, you know, we've reorganized. It's been a week. A lot has happened in that week. It's kind of crazy. But everyone, on these committees have agreed to be very active. One of the things that I think we would like to see down the road is an administrator to run the city on a day-to-day basis. I don't think we're ready for that at this point, but in the meantime, the way that things used to run in years past that I remember, the committees kind of took charge. And in this 1 week, that has happened. And we have done a lot. We were anxious to get started, and I think the progress is going to be in the results are going to be based on how active we are and how much we push the things that we're working on. So I'll give you the quick overview of what the Finance Redevelopment Committee has done just in 1 week. We've had a couple meetings with developers, believe it or not, that we've had some contact with and some we haven't. And talking about areas like the Gateway West, that has been an eyesore forever. At one time in my past career here, we were looking at Beazer Homes in that area. That could be resurrected. It could come back. There is people involved that have connections there. But there's other ideas for that site too, and things that we will work on as we go forward. Our new city attorney, we didn't really introduce him much, but he is very versed on redevelopment and has contacts throughout the industry, and we're going to lean on him a lot to help us in that area.
For people who don't know, where exactly is the Gateway West?
It is the Acme site and across the street. So where you come into town on the west side. And there was a nice plan set up back in the day. And unfortunately, the principal at Beazer Homes passed away in the middle of our discussions. So, and I know there's been a lot of ideas for that site since then. But we didn't just talk about, when we talked to these developers, we didn't just talk about that area. There's other areas. Our focus, we want it to be on the White Horse Pike and Philadelphia Avenue. There's areas there that need redeveloping. And there's tools that we can access and work on that through redevelopment plans and other things. We also had a meeting with Triad. The mayor has had ongoing discussions with Triad. They're working on a lot of projects, and we're going to just keep pushing more onto them because we need funding to do some of these startups for redevelopment. And there is areas that we can tap into to do that. We have a new foreclosure attorney who is Damon Tyner. From what I understand, there's like 20 foreclosures that have been sitting there for 2 years, and not for anybody's fault, but because the state was changing the laws on how foreclosures were handled. And so he's going to look into it with the former foreclosure attorney and see how they can work out to get them pushed through. Also, we have a meeting coming up with another developer for the Egg Harbor North. And Ryan, that's one meeting that we'd like you to sit in on. It's probably going to be a team meeting, or it might be here. We're not sure yet, but we're looking at the 21st of January. And then on tonight's agenda, we have an ordinance that we're discussing about what to do about it for the cultivation center that Dr. Traki has on Philadelphia Avenue. So we'll get to that in the agenda and see what we want to do there. We do want to get a meeting up with him and talk to him about the progress there. Also, as I said before, the first official meeting of the committee will be, even though we've been meeting for other reasons, will be every Monday. It'll start on the January 13th, so it'll be the second and fourth Monday of every month as needed. And so we're not asking anybody to come at this point, but we'll extend invitations when we get to that point.
And what meeting is that?
That's redevelopment
Redevelopment.
finance. Also, next meeting, just want to announce that on January 23rd, our next council meeting, we're going to have Dr. Rinaldi here, who has been here before to talk about the St. Nicholas school site. And he has a different plan from the last plan that he put in. And we had a preliminary meeting with him, and it seems possible, you know, what he wants to do. My wife and I are going to walk down our block because we live right across the street from there. And we're going to talk to the residents, even though there's no need to notify people officially, but we're going to unofficially notify them to maybe come to the meeting in 2 weeks to hear what's going on.
You live there too.
I'll be here, believe me.
So I don't have to knock on your door.
Nah, there's a lot more coming too.
And then just the last thing I want to say is I want to thank the ladies at the table here, Jackie and Meg, Jacqueline, right? And Jody, for making, even with all the things that were going on this week, and I think Jody wanted to throw me out of her office a couple of times. But other than that, it's been a very smooth transition, and I appreciate all the help from everybody here. So, and thank you. And you know, I mentioned Laura in that too, because she was very helpful too. And that's the end of the council committees.
You skipped school board and
I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So for school board, they had a reorganization meeting yesterday, and their next meeting will be February 12th, which is for the Egg Harbor City School District. Greater Egg just released their schedule for the 2025 and 2026. And then for a license and ordinance, we have a January 20th meeting scheduled.
Okay, thank you. I also forgot to call on Councilman Hesse for safety and Rotary. She's on those two committees.
I just have one thing to say about safety. There's a meeting scheduled for January 16th. We will be meeting with the new risk manager, John Diagostino, who will bring us up to speed as to past and present issues as well as training. And at Rotary, there's a meeting scheduled for January 14th at 5:30 at Crossroads. We have a meeting here in Egg Harbor City. I did all I could to get one meeting a month here, since aren't many of us here on the Rotary. Again, I'm going to continue to ask if anyone of our business owners and residents are interested in joining the Rotary, Mays Landing, Egg Harbor City Rotary, to represent Egg Harbor. Please get in touch with me if you're interested. Thank you. That's all I have.
Can you just remind me of time for the 16th?
5:30. I'm sorry, the 16th?
Mm-hmm. For the safety meeting?
16th? Oh, no, that's 8:00 a.m.
For a safety meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. Safety, I'm sorry. That's 6:30, part of it.
6:30, all right.
That's my other.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
the other one.
I was at 7, now it's at 8.
Okay, number 10 on our agenda is
I
from our chief of
I
police.
saw it today. I didn't open it up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to all the new ones. Welcome back to everybody who's been here. Few numbers for you. Sorry I missed the last meeting. I bumped my head. But so between then and now, we have had 1 burglary, 1 fraud report, 3 thefts. I'm very happy to say that apparently everybody was in a holiday spirit and decided to give kind of a break. We did, however, have 10 motor vehicle accidents. We did 12 traffic stops. A total of 30 summonses were issued. We had 4 DUI arrests and 5 other arrests. 10 business alarms, 2 residential alarms, 64 crime prevention activities, 7 domestics, 29 EMS incidents, 17 firearms applications, 16 follow-ups, 153 property checks, and 13 public service calls. Little bit about the department as it stands right now. We have 1 officer who has been out on workers' comp since July. 1 officer will be out on military. We thank you for his service from January until October. In terms of the hiring process, the civil service test results did come out last month, thankfully. 1 officer is almost completely through the background process. We will be scheduling him for his psych and his physical, so he is hopefully slated to begin without any issues with the psych and the physical beginning of February. Another officer is also in the background process, and we have had 3 additional applicants after the results of the civil service exam, so they will be going through the background process as well. Upcoming things that we have going on January 15th, Pastor Lee from Church by the Bay will be holding another event at Lincoln Park. We've been doing it every other month where the Piccalilli will provide hot food for anybody who wants to come by and grab some. The court systems are there to help with expungement issues. Operation Rise with the state police is there as well. They provide Narcan and any kind of outreach services for addictions. And there is there's clothing that can be that anybody can come and get that the Church by the Bay brings out. It's always been a very successful event. There have been quite a few residents or folks who come out there who have had quite a bit of success with the expungements. And, you know, the courts have been very successful in helping others get information about any outstanding issues that they may have with the courts, not just for our court, but any of the municipal courts. And then also they could provide information on any criminal stuff, although they can't really help them with that. In terms of things that are going on here, I attended a state chiefs meeting today, and one of the big things that has been in the forefront for all police officers is the increase in fatalities on the roadways. That's including pedestrians and motor vehicle accidents. Last year, I believe throughout the state, there were 661 fatalities. And that was just for motor vehicle accidents. I don't recall the number for pedestrians. So, and unfortunately, Atlantic County had a very high number of fatalities. Fortunately, we in Carver City did not have any fatal motor vehicle accidents in 2024. Actually, scratch that.
Yeah, we have
Scratch
one.
That one, scratch that one. So one of the things that you as residents can see is something that has been stressed by the highway traffic safety is targeted enforcement. You know, one of the key points is that, you know, motor vehicle stops can actually save lives, because if you get pulled over for the little things, you know, hopefully you'll reconsider what you're doing in terms of speeding, distracted driving, and not wearing your seatbelt, that sort of thing. So be prepared for targeted enforcement. So just be mindful of your speed, your distracted driving and other things, because we'll be stopping you and we'll say hi. But yeah, so that's what we've got. It's a pretty stressful time of year for us in the police department, because we have all of our annual reporting that we have to do. And the Attorney General's office has come up with a whole new portal for us to report things again in multiple ways. So, but yeah, so we're doing all that, but we're here. I would like to say, to piggyback off of everything with the snow, we are potentially expecting snow this weekend. I was very fortunate enough to have a neighbor who had a snow blower, who I did my back driveway and walkway, and did my mom's, and then came out here to the PD and did that. And while I was doing that, they were doing my front walkway, so I appreciate that. I would like to ask everybody, we are a small community, we do have a lot of elderly folks, so please help your neighbors. And that's about all I have. Any questions as we go into the meeting?
Can you just repeat the date and the time for the Lincoln Park event?
Absolutely. January 15th, so next Wednesday, we'll be out there from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you.
I just heard a comment this week, maybe Chris, I think you might have even said it to me, that Carver City has a reputation along the White Horse Pike that you don't want to speed through Carver City, because you'll get, did you tell me that, or was it somebody?
I did not.
Oh, that was you, Joe. Okay.
I don't speed in general.
So you said Chislehurst, the name Carver City. Right. So that's, so we like that reputation.
We are glad to uphold that, and I'd like to credit former Sergeant Elwood Solomon for this. He would pull everybody over, including his mother. So yes.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, but anything else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have our CFO report, Jody.
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. So if you were waiting for a check, it's not coming tonight. Okay, city clerk?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Engineer?
Sure, I'll just go through the, I'll give you a quick brief, but I'll go through the most active stuff.
Ryan,
the-
can I ask you something before, just so everybody can hear you? I know it's hard. I see the speaker is all the way over there away from you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Hopefully that's better.
Thanks.
Sure. So the tennis and pickleball courts, the contractor's intention was to pave this week. Obviously, that didn't pan out. So they're gonna monitor the weather, and as soon as they get decent enough weather for about a week, they're planning on coming in and placing the DGA, and grading the site and then doing the base paving. And then the surface paving won't happen probably until early mid-March, weather dependent. So that's the plan for now. Archway Green, you guys awarded that last week, so we're putting contracts together and getting a pre-construction meeting scheduled. The iBank Stormwater Project, we are doing survey now, that started Monday, so they'll be going down the middle and getting manholes and getting all the infrastructure, and then we'll have to sort of circle back and get the curb lines and all that stuff. The brownfield designations, that was a big win for the city, had that on my list. And then the campground ADA improvements, we submitted to the Pinelands Commission for that pervious path material and upgrades to the restrooms. And then the municipal building ADA, we are working on the design for revisions to this space to make the dais accessible. All of the service counters are currently not considered ADA accessible, the bathrooms. So there's a lot of little stuff to be done here. We're working through that. So that's all I have. Unless somebody has any questions.
Ryan, I
I
have a
just
question.
want, oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, go ahead.
Good.
Is the electric included in the lake? Are you bidding that at the same time like you would intended, or are we gonna do the
Yeah, so
electric quicker?
We have
So
the
it's
base
done.
plan in. We're hoping that we have the service application into Legacy Electric by like the middle to end of next week.
Okay, good.
So that'll give us some more information. You're kind of maxed out with your service now. You have a 400 amp or a transformer that can provide about 400 amps. Where the power, you have way more than that, breakers for your campsites. So the plan is to request an additional service, run new 50 amp services to campsites, and then sort of redistribute the power that you do have to the existing sites to the remaining sites. So there'll be a little less underpower. So yeah, we'll be advancing as quickly as we can, but we'll see if we get back from Legacy Electric for costs for the transformer and all that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I was informed that there is a hole in the
Yes.
bridge going from
So
the campground back to Renault, one of those little bridges. Apparently there's a hole. I did not go back there and look for it. It's too cold for me. I don't
I
think-
saw the pictures.
Okay,
I'll reach out to the county, but typically all bridges
Our county.
are the county's responsibility.
right.
Right, so I assume that the city's not responsible for that one out of all of the bridges. So yeah, we can reach out to the county, make sure that they're aware and they address that.
Okay.
Sure.
Any other questions for Ryan? City attorney, any comments?
I don't have any formal report. I just want to thank everybody. It's been good getting to know everybody over the last week, and I look forward to working with the city moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, resolution to pass budget appropriation reserve transfers. Roll call,
I make a motion.
Second.
questions? No questions? Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist.
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
A resolution for accumulated absences for Keith Adams for his number of vacation days left and final pay.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Questions? Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
Yes.
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heist,
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Wright.
Definitely.
Number 17 on the agenda is authorizing application to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvement Grant Program. Recreational improvement at Rotary Park. Questions?
Yes. What is this for?
What up, Jim?
For a top lot,
Is this a new project?
yes.
We authorized.
Yeah, we already
Yeah.
are.
This is the grant.
100%.
And it's, where is it located? At Rotary Park?
Ryan, you want to speak
In
to
the
that?
park where the playground equipment is now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It would replace some of the existing equipment and
Mhm.
provide some
Oh,
younger.
Yeah.
And some fencing, because you're right next to a street.
okay, thank you.
And we're gonna try to get the rest of that fencing, if we can, to stop anyone from falling into the creek.
Mm.
We will go as far as we can go with the grant.
There's nothing between the.
Right. Yeah, they just walk right in there.
And I know I've asked this before, but is there any way that you can do without the wall on the one side and just have the
That's-
bom part, or you
that's-
have to have?
Well, the
That's
wall's
different
not gonna be
project.
facing, that's a different project.
Oh, I keep thinking. it's
The wall's
something.
not gonna be hiding anything, because I thought we talked about that, we were going to, strategically locate it sideways so that it has clear visibility from both ways.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Motion.
Oh, motion.
I'll make a motion.
Does say roll call.
Second.
Second,
All in favor, I mean,
Dash.
yes,
Clark. Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
yes,
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Okay, number 18 is a resolution for the LEAP program, the Local Effectiveness Achievement Program.
I make a motion.
Second,
second,
questions? My understanding, this is those speed signs that we use with the shared service. Is that right, chief?
This one is for 3 speed feedback signs.
Yes.
Okay, all in, oh, this is roll call.
Yep.
Also. Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
yes,
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Okay, number 19 is also a LEAP improvement grant for the highway digital message boards.
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions? Roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash,
yes,
Dovey,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Heiss,
Yes.
Hesse,
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Okay, number 20 is to introduce the ordinance 1-2025 to amend the redevelopment plan for the 801 Philadelphia Avenue rehabilitation area to permit certain cannabis uses. Now, my understanding is he's asking for this to,
Brian.
Yeah, you want
Go
me
ahead.
to elaborate? Okay,
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Dr. Trocki owns this property, he currently builds boats there. He sought and received approvals for a redevelopment plan in 2018.
Mhm.
To cultivate, at the time, medical cannabis
Mhm.
in the same facility. Permitting both uses to occur simultaneously. He came back, probably a little more than a year ago with interest in advancing the cannabis cultivation. And we reviewed the plan and found that a lot of the cannabis rules had changed. It was no longer a medically exclusive program. A lot of additional language and guidance had been issued for air quality and things like that. So we said, look, if you want to move forward, you have to amend your redevelopment plan because you can't really move forward under these rules because they aren't really existing. So the amendment would be to essentially permit the same thing he was allowed to do with medical cannabis, but reflect that it would be for recreational cannabis production. And it injects, like I said, rules about air quality and air filtration and a couple other minor amendments that are reflective of the new rules since the cannabis, changed in the state of New Jersey.
is the basic process of what he's doing the same?
It would be identical, yeah.
Yeah, but before he was growing and trying to sell on the same development.
No,
no,
Yeah, he never, he
All right.
sought approval for that at one time.
Right.
The only approval that was granted was for cultivation.
Okay.
So I believe, since they created new use classes, with the 6 use classes, I believe that the plan also includes the ability to, manufacture or whatever the processing would be, related to the cultivation. But that's something that wasn't really envisioned under the prior medical rules. They weren't regulated differently. You could have done both in the same building before, but now they're regulated separate use classes. So, yeah, for all intents and purposes, if he had started doing it in 2018, this plan would just permit what he would have started doing then.
Does he plan on still making yachts and growing cannabis in the same building?
Yes, so as we went through
Yeah.
this process, he expressed that he wanted to fit out the whole building and shift over to cannabis production. And when he got a cost estimate to do that, he found that it was cost prohibitive. Because it was a lot.
So basically, he plans on letting everything still
Mhm.
lie where it lays.
Well, so
Mhm.
I've had some
And-
discussions with the council president as we put this on the agenda. And I spoke to Dr. Traki. He needs to post an escrow. And he needs to, or we requested a meeting, both of which he said he was amenable to. I spoke to him, he's in Florida, but he expressed he'd come up anytime, he'd be happy with anybody. So yes, he will still have boat molds on the site. I know that we want to have some discussion with him about cleaning some things up. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Can I say something? I pulled the redevelopment plan and the synopsis that was approved a couple
2018.
months later. This is done in 2018. And I had a lot of questions about stuff that's in here, that if it was done, if it's not done. So I'm going to request that we postpone introduction of the ordinance till our next meeting.
So motion to table?
No, not table it, just postpone it.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Same thing. I make a motion to table.
Okay.
Okay, motion,
Second.
motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did you
I
say
said, I.
unanimous? So we're gonna table that till the next meeting.
Okay, so I'll reach out to Dr. Tragi and set up a meeting to review any concerns we have.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ryan.
And President, can we have it, just a side note that it's not gonna go back on the agenda until that meeting is.
We can do that.
Is in person with Dr. Shockey with the guidelines of what council is requesting.
Yes, definitely.
But some of the next questions in that you might want to ask Ryan ahead of time. or-
Well, I'll talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can put together a list, I'll forward to Dr. Tragi, so he.
Well, there's a lot of information in here about what he could do inside the building. I know you said that there's no site plan, but there's stuff in here that is required to be put into a site plan. And you said that he's not planning any outdoor
Yeah, so
changes
and he signed an affidavit that he would not conduct any changes, any revisions to the exterior of the facility or site without coming to the planning. So, and we got down to the granular level of like, could even put a generator outside. Just, you know, and any changes to the site will require him to come to play.
I also tried to find the DNR from the land use board meeting that was held, but I wasn't able to get that by 5 o'clock tonight, so.
There was also the issue of him being within a certain area of the
school.
That
Yes,
his front corner is within that limitation of.
it's in 1,000 feet of the
Church.
well, that's the school. No, it was the rear play area of the Buffalo.
Oh,
School. That I believe went away with the change from the medical cannabis
Yeah.
rules to the current.
It's less.
Yes, the buffer just needs
He
change.
actually has the city cultivation license.
Yeah, he did apply for and received the cultivation license in the city, so this is, you know, we just get through this.
And
part.
just to be clear, I'm not opposed to cultivating in that building.
Sure.
It's just that there's so many other things that need to be done.
Understood.
And, we're looking for good neighbors, so let's sit down with him and talk to him.
I think we all feel that way. And
Yeah, I
as
agree.
soon as we can get that meeting up, let me know.
Yep, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay, great. All right, number 21 is the bill list.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Questions on the bills? All right, roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Dash.
Yes.
Jovi.
Yeah.
Galloway,
Yes,
Height,
Yes.
Hesse.
Yes.
Keener,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor, comments?
Yes, I do have a few thank yous also. I'd like to thank Keith Adams for his hard work in Egg Harbor City over the years. I'd also like to thank the outgoing council for serving, and obviously thank you to the new council people for serving also. I did forget to mention that New Jersey American Water, I think everybody may have gotten that robocall today. That they will be out and about. They should have identification. And they're gonna be checking to see what type of pipes that you have. They're lead, galvanized. What's the other one, Ryan?
Steel.
Copper,
Steel.
Copper, yeah,
Polyethylene.
But
okay.
are they going door to door?
Yes. So what they said on the phone.
So they're not.
So New Jersey American Water is like the gift that keeps giving,
Mhm.
right? Yes.
They will have, credentials stating who they are, and we are vetting them through the police department. So
good.
that way the canvassers are.
Mhm.
Good. Yeah, did you give them a contact?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
We get that posted on the website and on the social media
I think I
pages.
did post something on the website. Facebook.
Okay.
So just real quick, I see Gary and Butchie are still here. I'd like to thank Gary for getting all the lights on in Egg Harbor City and getting all the projects pushed through. It did take a letter to the BPU, but I did get one last week, wondering whether everything was done to our satisfaction. So we had a couple issues that I did report, but Gary's really been the driving force behind that. And we do have to think about replacing, I don't know where that is with the insurance company, but the one light post that is down on Philadelphia Avenue due to the accident. We may or may not be able to get the same light for that. Gary, you said we might be able to get it or not?
Yeah, I talked to a retiree who's actually back working as a contractor for the company that I deal with for the new lights that the city requested to be installed. And he basically told me that those fixtures on the main street are still available. So I
Okay,
don't know
good.
where the information is coming from, that they can't get those, specialized heads that are like in front of Rittenberg, the whole main street. But according to him, they're still available. So I gotta check with him and get in contact with him because basically dealing with that line is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't move forward. That's why we had to go to CPU for all the lights that were out for anywhere from 5 months to a year.
Yeah.
And the city's paying the bill for all these lights. Some of them $40 a pop, each one like at the train station. And the lights aren't even on.
Yeah.
And then you get them repaired.
But the lights are on now though, right? Cause I
All the
didn't,
lights
I didn't mention that.
Two behind Gennaro's of the Richburg
Yeah.
School, which I.
Yeah, you
I
have
got
the
that light
parts,
from
yeah.
you, and I
Yeah.
turned that in
Okay,
to my son to turn that in at the crew, but who knows when they'll put that back on. It
Okay.
come unthreaded. Fortunately, it fell on the grass and didn't break.
it's a miracle.
So that light's gotta go back on, but, you have the same scenario behind Gennaro's. Those two lights are the same style lights that are on the main street.
Okay.
And one of them is bad, so hopefully they can supposedly find these so-called lights that they claim that they can't get anymore.
So somebody's gonna, Jody, you're gonna maybe have to follow up on that since you've been involved in this too. Since we have to buy some sort of a like right by Big Nally shoe store. That. we have- Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Is
Right
is
on
that a
the
Cobra light
Arago-
or a decorative light?
on the corner.
Argo and Philly, the 100. right?
Across from Medfield.
What about the one by the post office? Is that this?
That's another one that.
Is that one fixed by the post office? Oh, yeah, I didn't know, no, I was not personally told about that,
Yeah.
but that's the city's problem. That's not the electric company that I know of. So that's
City
gonna
electric.
have to, yeah.
Some of them are like on the main street, some of those posts on the main street, and some of those like markers on the corner with the lights, they're all customer owned.
Yeah.
That's why you see those meter sockets on the corner in the big boxes,
Yeah.
but the city basically had a contractor come in and half was done by the contractor and, some of the lights were done by Atlantic City Electric. You see a pole number on them, they belong to the electric company. And for anybody in this room that sees a light out, there's an app on your phone, go in and turn it in because at one time we probably had 140 lights out in the city. And I kind of got involved in this 2 years ago. Because everybody calls me, I've been retired for 6 years, and they all call me if I can get the lights on, but there's an app on the phone. And basically, I had talked to the mayor about this, and I said, as the residents or the police department, if they would turn these lights on, I know Butch calls me a lot, you can go on your phone, turn them in, the company has no idea they're out, the city's paying for them, and they'll be out forever until you actually call them in.
Gary single-handedly did all the lights himself, getting them back on. I mean, we were practically in the dark here in Egg Harbor City until Gary ended up doing that. And I think we should do our part and not leave it on one person to do
It's a
this.
Tony Pastor
And not-
ride through the whole town literally, and look at every light to see what's on and what's off.
Exactly. So are we working,
The police
Chief?
have done grids of it and have, the mayor asked me, and so the police did do a grid and went through and we have reports of what streets they did and they did the app, they were doubled up.
were, or are they continuing? Do they do it the night shift when they're like going around, or is it just, was it a one-time
It
thing?
depends on volume of the calls that we have.
Mhm.
But I mean periodically, I mean like through the month or whatever. Yeah, that I think will be great.
I
Thank
believe
you.
you can report on the
Website,
website
too.
too,
Mhm.
the streetlight outages. On the
Yeah,
website.
on our
have
website.
I go right on my phone and I report them.
Right, but I mean, for people that can't put an app in their phone, they can go on the
Right.
website too.
And like I said, you know, it'll show that if you go on that app, put that light in, it'll show that it's red, which means they already know, it'll see when it was turned in. That's how I know how long they were out, basically, when we basically had the BPU get involved, you know, tell them how long these lights been out, and they need to be repaired, because the city's funded the bill. And then we were supposed to get a credit, which there's no way of knowing whether we even got a credit, because there's so many accounts associated with this lighting program that the city doesn't even know if they credit us for all these lights at the train station, or all the ones that I turned in Lincoln Park out by the school that were out, literally, some of them over a year, 2 years.
So maybe our attorney could have some input on this. Is there any way that we could get this money back from them or?
I was told by Bert Lopez that they issued a credit, but how are we gonna prove that? I wouldn't have any idea if the city could see, you know, if they reimburse you for any lights. I wouldn't have to know how they, you know, you would see that.
They do it on the
Show
bill?
you it.
Is that what you're saying?
You know, I have no idea how they do it, because there's two different
The way
accounts, there's,
the light bills are.
you know,
they're-
two different city lights.
It's not.
We could ask them for.
I mean, I've sent emails a couple of times. I don't think I've ever gotten an actual answer back.
And then they changed hands so
Let me
many
take a look at the
times.
bills and see
The
what-
text line took over.
Yeah.
Everybody that I deal with don't last long. So now they give me, you know, I had Bert Lopez, we met here at City Hall. That was a waste of time. Then we finally went to the BPU, then they put another lady in charge, then they put somebody else in charge. I, to this day, I don't even know who's in charge, who even to call. So.
Please fill
I
it for it.
suggest if you have like the light on the main street that's not down, or say the two behind Gennaro's, in my opinion, who knows when they're ever gonna do them? I suggest whoever you contact with the BPU, you turn those lights in, and I guarantee you, within 2 weeks, they'll all be fixed, because they jump when they hear BPU.
Good.
Thank you, Gary, for everything
Yeah.
you've done.
And one other thing in regards to the solar projects that you're pursuing, make sure somebody checks with Atlantic City Electric before you get involved with contractors, because if the feeder is maxed out of Egg Harbor Sub, you got multiple feeders, Base Landing, Green Bank, Egg Harbor. If those feeders are maxed out, you cannot go on and put more solar, say like in this building, if this is on the Egg Harbor feeder, that's what happened to the Port Fire Company. They basically got shot down because the feeders at max, you can't put more back on it. So you have to check all that before you get too involved.
Well, our engineer is nodding his head, so it seems
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
Thank
They
you,
have their
Gary.
online system, but it's not always up to date. You gotta follow up if you have a real project. Every time.
And then, just to conclude, Butchie's here, Chief Kinsley, he's our fire chief. Thank you for your service. I know you had a fire on, Monday night, right? Worst night, right after the snowstorm. And, look, thankfully, no one was injured, a lot of smoke. But, it's just our volunteers, right there they are. Thank you for all you do, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I think that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, so I don't forget, Councilwoman Clark, calling you first.
Thank you. I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Heist,
I have nothing.
okay. Councilman Dash,
Keith, I'd like to just thank you for all your years of service. I'm sure you and I will be getting together for some other projects in the near future, but I just want to thank you.
thank you. Councilman Dovey,
Nothing.
nothing. Councilman Wright,
Yeah, I also want to thank Keith for his services. I mean, it's gonna be, I'm still shocked right now that this is even here, but there's gonna be some big shoes to fill. The work that he put for this town. He was running the water department and public works twice at one time. I mean, the guys put time and blood and sweat in this town, and he's gonna be greatly missed, man, and greatly appreciated, man. I know he's not, but That's it.
Councilman Galloway, Councilwoman. Sorry.
I think Butchie is the hero of the day here. When I look at all the fire, 45 square miles of homes burned in California. Pray for those people. And, you know, they're regular houses and there's lots of mansions that came down. And I heard a number on the TV before I came to the council meeting. It was like billions and billions of dollars worth of real estate wiped out. Thankfully, only a few deaths so far, but pray for those people because California's in sad shape. So thank you for your service and thank all the firefighters who work for us every day, 24/7. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hanson.
I would also just like to thank our volunteers. And thank you, Keith, as well, for your service to our community. And have a great weekend.
In my years in Egg Harbor City, I knew a lot of people, older generation that stepped up when the town needed things. You know, we talk about Buswell and all the guys that used to go out to the cemetery and all that group that generation is gone. And you guys are that new generation of volunteers that are retired and semi-retired. I know Butchie's not retired yet. He's still young. But it's very nice that we have that, the EDC, the work that you guys do. And you know, I've seen it firsthand, the way that you operate, and I think it's great. That's why we want to collaborate with you and try to work together. We're all here for the best part of this town, to try to improve what we have for the future, not just for now, but for the future. I also want to thank former Council President Ritchie for his term of service up here. And that, you know, looking at some of the things that we have here in Egg Harbor City as far as the budget and things that really keep the city operating, we're in pretty good shape. And not to say we're not going to have our challenges to hold the taxes down like you guys had the opportunity. But I thank you for your service and for your work up here on City Council. And I also, Keith, I know you for a long time. I've seen the job you've done and it's very much appreciated, even though you might not have thought that recently. But it is appreciated what you've done for us in Egg Harbor City, not just recently, but forever. And all the conversations we used to have about the future. Sorry to see you go, but I understand why. And so we look forward to that. I look forward to working with you on the EDC also. Other than that, I'm not going to sit up here and pontificate, but I thank everybody for their time tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One more comment.
I'm doing this. Okay, public comments? I know. Please state your name and your address.
Address 2058 LaPorte Avenue. Just a couple things. Mr. Dennis, that was a great speech you made. Appreciate it. If you look up here, you'll see that all the Democrats are on one side, all Republicans are on one. I wish you guys would just get together and work together as a team. Councilwoman Galloway, you made a comment about the grow. Perfect. They need more, it's good. They need more grows. In the cannabis industry alone needs more grow facilities. Because what you have is you have too many retailers because they're the easiest ones for them to get involved in. And you're getting the same product at every retail. So you're getting 100 people coming to 2 or 3 retail places for the same product. Mr. Barbario, I came here because you, I think I worked with you before in Hamilton on the Stockton project. Is he still the partnership?
Yes.
What's the salary for that?
You're on an hourly rate.
It's an hourly rate.
Is that, do you have a, that you maxed out at?
17.5.
17.5?
Not to exceed 17.5, but I don't think it's.
Well, it's not as bad as I thought, so, but,
Last year was a total of maybe 4,500.
And his salary's coming from the grants.
Right, understood, but I'm just, like, I mean, he's a busy man.
Yeah,
He,
sure is.
he works up as a bar administrator. And then he's doing the thing that Keith was doing for 10 hours, up to 10 hours a week. And he's also the arborist. Your wife doesn't see him much, but that's it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Anyone else? Comments?
I got a comment to make. I would just like, as a citizen of Egg Harbor and on the board of Key Rec, myself, which I just like to thank Keith. Because we've called Keith on so many projects over there we've done for whether manpower, whether we put thermal field or sewer projects, broken manhole lids. You name it, Keith probably half the time, I would say he's not answering me, but he probably sees it's me, so there's that pain in the ass. I can't say enough about it. I mean, always had a good response, a great working relationship, especially over at Key Rec, and I wish you the best, Keith, and I thank you for everything you've done, not only for the city, but for Key Rec.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion. Second.
Motion made second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
What about the next? You need to fix this.
Working on it.